Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and I'm back with one more of my experimentation in Figma prototyping. So today we are building this really simple expanding video cards, and the idea behind this is that when you hover over any card, the card expands and then a video starts auto playing in the background. And when you hover over the other card, it just expands, the previous video stops and the new video starts playing. So I used only one artboard and one component to build this. It's a really simple interaction to build, but it has a lot of tricks in it. So let's see how can we do this in Figma, and yeah, let's get started. So we're in Figma right now, and the first thing that you need is a desktop artboard. I'm picking a really standard desktop size, but you're free to choose anything that you like. And the next thing that you need is a dummy UI component. I'm picking some sort of a dummy UI here. We're not going to animate it. So again, feel free to change it as well. The next main thing of this design is basically the cards that we saw below this text. So let's first determine what exactly is the size that we want for these cards. So I'll hit A on my keyboard and that will open my frame tool. And for now, I'm just adding a quick fill to it. And I want it to be a slightly portraitish card, a slightly tall card. So I'll do something like 250 by 500 size. And this looks absolutely amazing. And we want to create 5 of these cards, but we are going to use components for doing that. So let me just pull this out of our main artboard, and we'll forget this for a while. And now we have to work with this card and we'll create a component out of it. So we have two states of this card. First is the non-hover state, where you see a static image, and the next state is basically when you hover over it, expands and shows you a moving video. So here's the first trick of the entire thing, which is a trick for a frame. So in the frame, if you see, right now it's added a fill, a solid white fill, but in the frame you can also add gradients, linear, radial, angular and diamond gradients. But on top of it, you can also add images and videos to it. So if you are on a free tier of Figma, you'll only be able to add images and GIFs. But if you are on a paid professional tier of Figma, you'll be able to add videos as well to your frames. So let's quickly add a GIF to it because I'm on a free tier. So I'm just going to use GIFs. But this process is exactly same for even the videos. So just click on video and you will be able to add video. But I'm right now going to do a GIF version. Okay, so I've selected my frame. I'll click on GIF, image, basically image fill, and I'll choose image, and I'll come here on my folder and I'll select my GIF image, the first GIF image that I have, and I'll quickly add it to my frame. Now if you see a really peculiar property, a really peculiar thing that is happening here is that the frame does not contain any additional layers. If you see, there's no drop down. The frame has nothing in it, but the property of the frame is now been set to a GIF video. Okay, so if you see here, it's being set to a GIF video, and it has one really nice advantage is that when you resize the frame, for example, if I expand the frame, Figma will automatically fill that property, whether it was a GIF or a video, to the entire expanded state or to the entire space that is available. So if I resize it to smaller thing, resize it to a bigger size, Figma will automatically fill that entire content that you have added, let's say image, video, whatever it is, to the entire space available. So we don't have to do additional tweaking or additional effort to fill this stage. And that's exactly what we want with our cards. So when we hover over the card expands and it shows a video in the full view. So that's why we have chosen to do this trick where we have filled it with an image or a GIF or a video. So I'll go back to my original state again. And this will be our non-hover state, and we want to create a hover state. So in hover state, it should expand. So let's say it should expand to something like 400 width. So when I hover over it, it should expand to this. Now if you see, both of them have this playing video, but if you remember our preview, when we are not hovering over the card should show a static image. So to do that, we are going to leverage our second trick for the frames, which is basically if you add any additional image or anything else on it, it will override this GIF property. So let me just quickly show you what we need to do that here. So this is our frame. This is our main video, and this is our video again. Now on top of it, we want to add a static image so that when we are not hovering, we see a static image. And it's preferable that you pick a similar frame from the entire video. So I have my video here. I'll show you. So this is the video from which I have created the GIF. And what I want to do is I just want to create a screenshot of this video. So it's a video actually. I'm just creating a screenshot. And the reason I'm creating a screenshot is that when I put it in the frame, it'll automatically blend with the expanded state. So it'll look like that the same image has started playing out. So that gives a really nice effect. So create a screenshot from the same video from which you're using the GIF or the video. Okay. So I've created a screenshot here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now drop my screenshot here. So let me just add my screenshot. And if you see, I've just dropped my screenshot in this frame. So the frame still has the GIF, but on top of it, I'm just adding a screenshot, which is a static image. And if you see now, the frame now contains an image. So as I was explaining you, if you add anything into the frame, it'll override the frame property. So the frame still contains the GIF. If you see here, it still contains the GIF, but now since you've added an image, it's overriding that GIF property and showing you the image first. So what will happen is it'll give you a really nice illusion that the image has started playing, auto playing. Let me just quickly show you both of these frames so that things are a little clear. So if you see, it's a static image, and on behind this we have a GIF. And if I show you the other card, it has the GIF image on top of it. So this is the two properties that we are going to use for building our component. Now the next thing to add here is basically to add some text. So first of all, I want to add some overlay. So I'll hit R on my keyboard, and that will open my rectangle tool. I'm going to call it overlay, and I'm going to give it a linear gradient. And on top of it, I want to add my text. Looks awesome. So we have to do the same thing on the bigger image as well. Now just increase the overlay to just fill the entire space. So now our two frames are ready. So basically this will be our non-hover state, where on top of a GIF you have added an image. So now you're just seeing a static image, and this is the expanded state where you just have the GIF added to the frame and some text here. And I'll select both of them together, and I'll come here and I'll select create component set. So now we have created a component set. Now the next thing that we have to do is we have to build interactive variants. So I'll go in my prototyping tab, and I'll select the first card, link it to the second card. And instead of on click, you want while hovering. So when you hover over it, then only it expands. Smart animate, gentle, 800 milliseconds, perfect. So now let me quickly show you how this looks like. So I'll drag it from my assets panel here. Okay. Now let's see how this entire thing looks like in the prototyping tab. So we have our card here, and when I click, the card expands, right? And when I don't click, the card again resumes back. Perfect. So our card is ready and it's working perfectly fine. Now what we have to do is I'll just align it here, and we have to create 5 more duplicates of this. So I've placed my 5 cards here. And what I want to do is I want to leverage another property of components. So that property is known as overrides. So if you haven't watched my older video on component basics, you can just check it out on my channel. I'll link it below, so you can understand what exactly is overrides are. So override means that the component remains same, but you can change a few properties of it. So for example, if I want to change the property of basically the text, I can just quickly come here and change it. I can write it like Amsterdam. And I also want to change the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the frame here, and I'll first I'll select the component, the overall component here, the second component overall here, and see if it has the older GIF. So I can now replace the GIF as well. So I'll just come here and select, and I'll select my second GIF, which is this Amsterdam video, and add it. And now if you see, it's still not showing you the Amsterdam GIF because the image that it contains, it's still the older image. So I can now also change this as well. And I think I'll pick this screenshot, which is again a screen grab from my original video of this Amsterdam. And if you see, without doing any effort, we just overridden a few properties in this component copy, and now it is the new video. So that's what we have to do for the other cards, and let's quickly change the content for the other cards and come back. Okay, so now I've changed all the images. I've overridden all the images and GIFs in all of these components that we have created. And just to quickly recap you, what we have done is we have changed the main image that was inside the component and the GIF that was associated to the main component. If I click here, the GIF was here, and I've changed that GIF again as well. So now next thing is, let's see quickly how this looks like, and we have one final step left. So if you see, it's expanding, but what is happening is the other cards are not shifting. So it's expanding. If you see, it's expanding, but the other cards are just expanding behind the previous card, and it's not automatically moving aside. The other cards are not automatically moving aside when the other card is expanding. So to fix this, what we have to do is I'll just select all of my cards, all of my components, and I'll hit Option Command G to group everything in a frame. And then we have to come here and we have to apply an auto layout property. So click auto layout, and the expansion direction should be horizontal because the cards are going to expand horizontally. Select the center option because we want the spacing to evenly distribute on both sides. So we'll just select this option, and we want to make sure that the cards always maintain at least some distance. So I think 18 is perfectly fine. Okay, so this is the spacing between the items. So the spacing that you see here is basically 18. So we are forcing auto layout to make sure that it always maintain the 18 spacing, and rest is 0, 0. That's perfectly fine. Let's see how this looks like now. So what is happening as of now is when you are expanding the card, the auto layout is automatically pushing the other cards aside, maintaining this 18 distance that you have here. But if you see, it's still not perfect because now my last card is moving out of this artboard itself. So that's not a desired effect that we want. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we want to tell auto layout that don't go beyond a certain size. So as of now, if you see in my auto layout, the option that is here available is horizontal resizing, which means that if the component gets bigger, the auto layouts also gets bigger. It only maintains one constraint, which is basically this 18 spacing. So we have to tell auto layout that, hey, don't expand in the horizontal direction. So we can give it a fixed width option. So what will happen is auto layout will not expand. What will in turn do is it will just reduce the size of other cards so that it can maintain this 18 constraint, the 18 distance between the two cards. So you have to come here and select horizontal scaling as fixed. So when I do that, nice, 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 awesome, and again nice. So if you see right now what's happening is now auto layout is trying to make everything in the center and trying to maintain the fixed width that we have given it to it, and trying to reduce the size of the other card so that it can maintain this 18 size. Okay, so when expanding it, it's trying to shrink the other card so that you don't get out of the artboard. So this looks absolutely gorgeous, and this is exactly what we're trying to build. And that's how you build really simple cards with expanding videos. And we have used 3 tricks here. Again, to recap, first of all, adding a GIF to an image, and then adding like the expanding options of the frame that automatically fills everything. And the next thing is that we have added this auto layout with a fixed width, and that's what is doing all the magic. I hope you understood this video. I hope you liked this simple video. If you did, just give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.